All right, everybody, welcome back to another Fresh Tuesday here on the Fresh Takes podcast with Russo and Felice. I am Paul Russo, and across from me, as always, man, myth, legend himself, Nick Felice. Nick, it feels like it's been a while since last Tuesday for whatever reason, but you know what? It's good to see you as always.
I can feel that.
What have you been up to?
Just living the dream. But Paul,
Yes.
how about them Redskins?
Yeah, they don't even know.
2 games back in the playoffs.
They don't even know how to be bad the right way. It sucks. I just want them to tank at this point. That's all I want in life, and it just can't happen.
Your Yankees lost, but you got your Redskins.
It's true.
But the Yankees aren't done.
No. Not quite.
They had a weak Garrett Cole tonight, though. I don't know. Just my opinion.
Yeah.
I actually watched the game.
Yeah, I don't know if it was a weak Garrett Cole per se. It just kind of... What sucked was, and we'll get into this more, during the regular season, Boone shook up the lineup when it needed to, and I just don't know why he's not doing it exactly. But either way, we will get into that.
We will. It might be breaking news. Maybe the Nationals have won.
That's true.
The pennant.
That's true.
Probably not, but we do get a lot of MLB breaking news here on this podcast.
That's true.
We got some good locks of the week. I already know the whole episode this week.
Wow.
Lock of the week. NASCAR's flipping.
NASCAR, yeah. We have video of that. We'll show that as well.
Have we ever played video?
I don't think video.
I don't think we've ever played video.
I don't know if we can technically do it, but it's off of YouTube, so I feel fairly safe.
Yeah.
And it's only going to be a quick thing of it. So
we'll be brief.
Yeah, that was crazy. We'll get into that. As you can tell, NASCAR playoffs are on there. A lot of playoff talk. Just realized we have obviously the MLB playoffs, we have NASCAR playoffs, but we also got our football talk, lock of the week, and I will be giving you a final fresh take that will hopefully make sense and
I don't know.
Hopefully, I'll preface it with this. I hope I'm not jinxing something by doing it right now.
Really?
Yeah.
But before we get started, just want to give us a pat on the back for both of us for picking the Jets over the Cowboys.
Yes. That was before Darnold got his diagnosis to come. I feel like we had to have picked him knowing Darnold was coming back.
I was looking over the picks. I remember you saying something about Darnold was playing. Yeah, there was no way we were picking if Luke Falk was the quarterback. But that would have been impressive. Mm-hmm. But you know what's not impressive?
What? Syracuse
football's performance.
That was rough.
Last
Thursday. I don't do this with college kids because obviously we aren't far removed from college, obviously. And they're young, they're gonna make mistakes, especially. I mean, everybody does, but they're still kids. They're not at least knowingly getting paid. But man, I felt like I called Tommy DeVito every MFer in the book at one point.
Yeah. Who is the backup?
The backup is Rex Culpepper. For those of you that remember him, and for those of you who don't know who he is, he probably would have been the starter this year had he unfortunately not had a cancer diagnosis. I think it's 18 months ago or so now, give or take. Came through, bailed back, missed most of last year. He was brought in as a quarterback. Made the transition to tight end, came back at the end of last year when he beat cancer, and then transitioned back to quarterback over this past offseason. So he's QB2. He's good. He's a tall guy, great arm. He's the backup for DeVito. For Syracuse, the defense, they kept him in the game. Really did. You can say what you want about the offensive line as a whole all year, and I will probably agree with you, but that offensive line had the best game of the year so far. And it just seemed like DeVito was frightened. He was scared. There's a couple of the balls that he tried to bomb downfield that were bad, that should have been intercepted or patted down or something.
Is it time for a QB change?
So I will for sure be at the game Friday night against Pitt. You might be there.
I might be there.
I feel like, at least for this year, this is DeVito's final shot on Friday. He needs to prove himself Friday. Part of me thinks, we'll have a good crowd Friday night. I don't think it will be too big. I'm guessing we'll probably be in the 25 to 30,000 range on Friday night at the Carrier Dome. So certainly not near full capacity, but if he messes up early, it's going to be loud for a bad reason.
Yes.
That being said, Dino hasn't said too much about his plan, what he's going to do should anything arise. If I were Dino, I don't think Tommy would have played the second half against NC State. And for those of you saying, but he played good statistically, yeah, he had 300 yards, but that was about the worst 300-yard game I think I've ever seen.
Yep.
So,
before I get into my college football talk,
yeah,
I just need to shout out someone who's commenting on our feed.
I've been able to check yet. I'm not used to doing this early on.
Yeah, we have a commenter.
I have a lot.
Is my man Jerry from my old job at Sampson State Park. Just shouting out early. Usually I do the shout outs at the end of the show, but I'm doing it now. Anyway, about college football. Notre Dame didn't get too much to see the game because I was away. I was in Rochester. And
yeah, I'm about to really... I'll get to that when we get to the NFL.
Do what?
No, I was like you, except on Sunday.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, I was away in Rochester, so I didn't really get the chance to see much of the Notre Dame game. But I see they hung on. It's good. Saw Georgia loss.
Yeah, that's
not good.
That was a rough game to bet, certainly.
Yes. I was a little pissed. Did you see the end of the Georgia game?
I did not.
Well, I saw it was in regulation. It was 8 seconds left.
Yeah.
They were right on field goal range.
What's funny about that is I was listening to I was on my way to Cleveland at that point.
Yeah.
And on the radio on ESPN Cleveland, they actually had the Red River. Now they call it the Red River Shootout now, whatever. I was listening to Oklahoma, Texas, and the announcers on there are like, yeah, this Georgia-South Carolina game's getting kind of kooky. Like, apparently there was like 3 missed field goals or something. Like,
yeah, well, anyway, at the end of regulation, it was 8 seconds left. Georgia was right on field goal range, and they decided to get a couple more yards. They got a penalty against them, 5-yard penalty. Pushed them back out of field goal range. Went for the Hail Mary, didn't get it. And ultimately cost them the game in overtime. And then the guy did miss the field goal in overtime, who usually Blankenship for the Georgia kicker.
Rodrigo Blankenship.
Usually he's a good kicker, but I think this loss really hurts Notre Dame because they lost to Georgia.
You think it hurts them?
Yes. I was hoping they would go undefeated, and that would look like their only one loss. And you know what also hurts? Virginia lost this week, too. And USC and Stanford have not looked sharp. Michigan has not looked sharp. We don't have the greatest schedule right now where we can get a bunch of quality wins. But we have to win out. If you lose one more, it's over. Clear as day. They're on the bye this week. Or is in college, what do you call it? The idle? Idle?
Yes, idle.
But then we got Michigan in Michigan. So we'll see. I think it's not good looking too good. Gonna need some upsets. Gonna need Georgia still to win the SEC. That would still help. But I don't know. What do you think of I'll ask you, what do you think of the 7 undefeated teams that are the top 7 in the country right now? Do you know them?
Well, I'm going to venture a guess.
It's Wisconsin, Penn State, Ohio State,
Clemson, Bama.
Yeah, LSU.
Yeah.
And Oklahoma.
Yep. What about them,
which one of those do you have confidence in? You know?
Well, I still think Clemson probably is going to win the national title. It's weird. I think them and Alabama are. I mean, I said from the beginning of the year, I don't think this Alabama team is as good as we think they are or have been in the past couple of years. This Oklahoma team, mind you, in the Big 12 a little bit, so you kind of might be able to take a grain of salt. This Oklahoma team seems pretty legit. LSU seems pretty legit. And Ohio State seemed pretty legit. If I had to pick one specifically, I think out of those 5, because I think those 5 are the main ones. I'm going to stick with Clemson, but LSU might be a problem here.
Yeah.
Not a lot of question mark. Joe Burrows has kind of thrust himself into the national spotlight.
They got to be playing Alabama here soon.
Yeah. They will be playing. I don't know when they'll be playing them, actually. I don't know when they're playing them. Certainly not in the next couple of weeks. I know that. Yeah, I'm not too sure when they got them.
But you're riding on Clemson right now.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with Clemson at the moment still. I guess until really proven otherwise, because every team kind of has those stumbles every now and then. And
what do you think of Penn State?
Not buying into them.
No.
Nah. Something about that team doesn't really, not so much vibe with me, but they got really no one that puts them over the top. You know what I mean? Sometimes that's good for a team, but they got to still go through Ohio State at some point. Wisconsin, stick with that side. Wisconsin might be the biggest wild card, honestly, in this, only because you look at the Big Ten, they have 3 undefeated teams, ranked still, obviously, top 7. Certainly, Ohio State's definitely in the playoff conversation. I think you got to put Wisconsin in there, too, at this point. But Wisconsin's the only team of those 3 out in the West, or whatever they call it, the Champions Division, or whichever one it is. So, I think it's definitely something to keep an eye on with them, because they're going to have the easiest path theoretically at this point, because they don't have to play Ohio State until it'd be the championship game, and they wouldn't have to play Penn State until the championship game. And I'll even throw at this point, because you gotta keep them in there for the sake of being, spoiler, Michigan, they'd still have to play in the championship. So, it's will be tough, I think. But like I said, I'm gonna stick with Clemson for now. So.
What's game day this week?
Game day, I feel like I remember seeing where they were going. For every reason off the top of my head, I can't remember. Penn State. Michigan Penn State's playing this weekend. That's where they're at. I remember them saying they're coming to State College.
So Michigan plays Penn State, and then they play Notre Dame.
Yep. Both on the road, right?
Michigan's out. Bad Michigan.
Oh. But. Yeah. Interesting bet back a couple weeks then for Harbaugh. We might
Will he even make the Ohio State game?
Yeah, I'd say he has to, because then you still have to. I think his buyout's different if you fire him mid-season than if you do outside of that.
Are we back on the Harbaugh train if he wins these 2 games?
No. I'm not.
I'm not.
I don't think boosters will be really either,
No.
So, I don't know. It is what it is. College football, it's been a fun college football year. I think. I know you think Notre Dame's dead in the water. I think this weekend
they have to win out.
I mean, they do have to win out, but I think this weekend showed that they're still in it.
They need help. They need Georgia to look better.
Well, it's not like I don't think Georgia didn't look, maybe bad per se, but
I think
Georgia's going to have a pretty – Georgia and Florida still has to happen, and I think depending on what happens there, that could bode well still.
I think the Virginia loss was a lot worse to Notre Dame this week. Who did they lose to?
Miami.
Yeah.
And that wasn't bad. That was my lock of the week last week, Virginia getting points.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that was rough.
Yeah, because that's one of our key wins.
Yeah. I still think it's a key win. This Notre Dame team, I think it's the best team they've had in a number of years. And that includes the team that they took to the title game a few years ago.
What about last year's? Better?
Oh, definitely. I think Ian Book with another year under his belt, obviously. I think that defense looks a little bit better at times. I wasn't able to really see the end of that game. I saw some of it in the middle.
I did not see it.
Felt fairly confident, and I saw the final score. They only won by 3, like 30-27 or whatever. I think USC. I mean, I don't think it's obviously different college. I definitely think the players are more or less playing for Helton at this point because
USC did cover though.
He's definitely on the hot seat still. Yeah,
I mean 7 or something.
Yeah, so
or 11.
Game day, get up State College, Pennsylvania. The game day is coming to you.
All right. We'll whatever go to Syracuse. Basketball or football?
I wish. Basketball, they usually get once every other year or so, give or take. They have like 8 appearances.
They should have had one last year.
I think this year you might see basketball get 1. Would be my bet. Probably Duke, UNC are both on Saturdays. So
isn't it sad it always has to be Duke or UNC?
Well, yeah, at this point. But I think, we still got, obviously not to get too off topic, but, you look at it, there's still some old, obviously Big East members, us, Notre Dame,
Pittsburgh, Louisville.
Pitt, Louisville.
That's it.
Well, if you want to go back a little bit, Miami, Boston College.
Where's UConn going?
UConn is going to the Big East. I think it's next year, not this year. Next year, basketball will be going to the Big East. So, good for them in a way. It's a bold strategy on their front.
It was a matter of time they were leaving.
I think this plays to the precursor. I remember hearing and seeing a rumor over the summer about them trying to get their football team either eliminated or drop down to FCS D1 AA.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. They're pretty much, I mean, you can make semantics of it depending upon where you really want to go, but they're either 129 or 130 if you were to rank all the teams in FBS D1A.
Yeah.
Man, I still think if you were to put them in D1 AA, I think they'd be running circles around those guys for the most part.
And there's a few Big East teams that do play that.
Yeah, I mean, Villanova, Georgetown.
Butler
is in the Pioneer Football League. That football division conference is actually pretty cool. They're not allowed to give out scholarships.
Really?
Yep. Trying to think of who else is Big East that has football.
You can grab your pen if you want.
No, I'm trying to think. I think those two might be the only two. St. John's doesn't. Marquette doesn't. DePaul doesn't. Yeah.
It's good for UConn.
I guess it'd be those 3 then, should that happen.
Yeah. I bet you that's what they'll do.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the pros. Awkward transition. Yeah, so much like Nick on Saturday, for me on Sunday, I really only saw one game. I was in Cleveland. The only game I saw was Seahawks-Browns. Quite the interesting game there. But there was a lot of interesting games over the weekend. I say unfortunately because I don't like whenever it gets to this point. But you had some really great games over the weekend, but the main point over the weekend probably is the bad officiating that occurred. We'll get to that in a few minutes. Nick, you alluded to it. Somehow, someway, the Redskins won.
Yes. What do you mean? They did play the Dolphins.
Yeah, but the Redskins did their best in the end to blow that game. And
or did the Dolphins blow the game with that 2-point conversion?
That's a good point. Look, I don't know. This Redskins team, they got talent on it.
Scary Terry.
As a fan of the team, I love Scary Terry. But as a fan of the team, this is not what I want, because now here's what's going to happen. And I know what people are going to say. You can't say that because they're the Redskins. They're going to be bad probably. I'm like, yeah, sure. But here's the deal. What's going to happen. This team's now going to bust out the rest of the year and finish like 7-9 or some BS record like that. Drop to like 12th in the draft. And it blows my mind why people think he's a good coach. But Bill Callahan is the worst. And if they do good, they're going to keep him around. And I don't want that. I'd rather take frickin' Jay Gruden back than Bill Callahan. Mm-hmm. I get that he's an interim, and I accept that. But don't bring him on as full term. For whatever you do, please don't. But yeah. Obviously it was the Dolphins, but AP looked good. AP had a 100-yard game. Scary Terry doing Scary Terry things. Now he's getting some national recognition for it.
Yep. Did you see AP calling off Case Keenum?
Yeah.
Is that good or bad for a team?
Bad. It's always bad.
Yeah,
I mean, it is what it is, though. I'm not going to fret over it too much in that realm.
And it's just one play. But.
Your Giants played Thursday night. They had moments where they had moments where they looked really good, and then there were other moments where it was a rookie quarterback out there against what is probably obviously the best defense going into this past week so far this year.
Giants didn't have much.
Not a knock on, maybe the Patriots overall, and I know it's 35 points, but I thought the Giants' defense did pretty good in the grand scheme of things. Brady didn't really jump out to me like he had that good of a game. It seemed pretty. The score obviously was 3 possessions, but Brady definitely did not look like a quarterback who had a 3-possession lead.
The way Brady's looked,
yeah,
I think he's finally starting to age.
You said it, not me, but I agree with you.
I don't even think he's a top 15 quarterback right now. I said I don't think he's a top 15 quarterback right now. But
that's tough given some of the people who are hurt at the moment, but yeah.
But their defense is probably the best defense they've had since Bill Belichick has been the coach. That defense is legit.
Yeah.
And I think it's...
I don't know maybe about the first since he's been a coach, but...
You know what this kind of reminds me of?
Oh, boy.
The Denver Broncos winning Super Bowl 50.
Really?
Peyton Manning, not his strength, and he was led by his defense. Yeah. So I think you could see a Patriots team just like the Broncos team when Von Miller led his defense back to win Super Bowl 50. But the Patriots are fine. Their division is weak. Even though I think you have the Steelers up there. But I think the biggest upset was, not in my mind, but in the world's mind, biggest upset was Jets over Cowboys, and we picked it. Sam Darnold's the real deal. I think this division, I just said it was shit, but the division is improving. I think you got the Bills defense and the Jets offense. They can work the other side of the ball. Josh Allen's looking all right. Jets defense could improve. This division starts to become one of the better divisions in the AFC because the AFC is pretty weak because the North and the South are bad. even the West could look a little mediocre. The way the upset that you put on there is the Chargers getting upset by the Steelers. But not to get off track, talking Jets over Cowboys. Is this... Oh, I'm going to ask you, Paul.
Mm-hmm.
Jets, Cowboys. Is this a bigger loss for the Cowboys or a bigger win for the Jets?
So this is tough because I don't want to discount what the Jets did because this is a big win for them still. But I think it's a more meaningful loss for the Cowboys because now you're starting to get, from the team standpoint, now you're starting to get the voices in the back of your head again. Hey, here we go again with a Jason Garrett team with Dak Prescott. Zeke's already a bit peeved, even though he got his money. Amari Cooper got hurt. This is, I think, showing, at the end of this year, there probably is some change inbound, I'd have to say. I think you got to. I think even if you do somehow rally back to, say, 8-8, make the playoffs,
Jerry Jones loves Jason Garrett.
Yeah, and I don't know why. But, hey, to each their own. And it's a shame because that Jets team, that was a big win for them. That was a really big win for them.
Darnold's good.
That was a maybe not career game in terms of statistics or anything like that, but coming off of, for Sam Darnold, coming off of, a possible near-death scenario to come back and win your first game like that against a team like the Cowboys who people put up on the pedestal this year. So, like I said, I think in the grand scheme of things, probably a more meaningful loss for the Cowboys.
Now, here's the big question. Do you think Luke Falk watched the Jets-Cowboys game?
Yes. He was probably in a hoodie on the sidelines.
No, he got cut.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Wow.
My friend Josh, Jets fan, source, got cut.
Wow.
Do you think he watched the game now that you know that?
Yes.
Really? I think he's just watching it with a beer in his team.
Yeah, he's probably like on the practice squad or something.
Probably. But now that you wrote another upset on there, are the Chargers overrated?
Yeah, so even with that, which is why I kind of put it. So I don't know.
They just lost to a third-string quarterback who can't throw downfield.
Yeah, that's why I put upset because.
No, that's an upset.
Yeah.
On the road, even though technically the place was full of Steeler fans.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird because now we have a lot of questions surrounding, I feel like, a lot of teams. It's weird being the Chargers right now. I'll get into that, I think, in our picks, though, because of some stuff that happened today against their opponent who they're playing this upcoming week. It's a shame. Up until, I'd say, the end of the third quarter yesterday, I feel like that third item I really wanted to get to would have been the Lions might actually be for real this year. And I still think they probably are, but instead we have to talk about bad officiating.
Yes. If you did not see that Cowboys, speaking of the Cowboys,
I know. I got
like 7 penalties in a row. Did not like that.
No. Look, I got the update today from ESPN and Bleacher Report saying that the second illegal hands to the face on Detroit was terrible. But both those were terrible. Even the first one, there was no contact to the face.
The no pass interference call on Marvin Jones Jr.
Yep.
And even if the one...
And it was bad all around, too, this week. Like, I remember... So the only game I watched in full was Seahawks versus Browns. And I will... If Matt's somehow watching and awake, we can talk about this tomorrow in person, but the Seahawks did not deserve to win that game. For the most part. The second half they played better than the Browns, I thought, but what the officials were calling on the Browns was absurd.
Yeah, that's just not the only game.
And those two games are just the tip of the iceberg to me. Because as you said, you had games where they were literally plays in a row, not just one or two where that happens every now and then, but 6, 7 in a row where there was a penalty. And it's whatever, like, I get, maybe there was a weird instance, but, like, I guarantee maybe 4 of them you could have not called, Yeah,
I literally, not to bring up these games again, but the Lions game.
Yeah.
And the Jets game.
Yeah.
Those refs were literally, it almost felt like they were literally trying to do anything they could to give the Packers and the Cowboys the win.
Yeah.
Packers got the cheap chip shot field goal, and the Jets and Cowboys couldn't make the 2-point conversion.
Yeah.
But they literally tried to help them win the game with a lot of questionable calls.
Bull honky calls.
Yep. And just like that Browns-Seahawks game, just like a lot of games, even maybe the Titans-Broncos game, I didn't get to check it, but there was probably bad calls in there too. And they got a problem. I think they need Tom Brady to get back on Twitter.
This goes back to something that I've talked about with different people, and I'm going to ask you, you're a sports guy, you might know this, you might not. What is the only... Let me rephrase that. Out of the big 4, name all the leagues where the officials are technically considered part-time employees.
It's just the NFL, right?
Yep. That means once they get done, like there's a guy who in the NFL who ref the Super Bowl last year. I think he lives down in like Honeoye area, somewhere fairly locally to us. You want to know what his main job is? He's an insurance broker and salesman.
Yeah, it makes sense because they only work 3 hours a week.
But you can make the same case for NHL refs and crews. They cycle out, whatever.
Can't make a case for baseball.
No, baseball they have whatever, but crews get. I think it's like it depends the way it goes in the season, but they get series off. Like a weekend type, every now and then. I think there's technically like 32 crews
Not really.
Or not 32 crews, like for the 30 teams, there's like 18 crews or something like that. So.
Yeah, because it'd be 15 series.
And Jim Spino, who's been here before, brought up a really great point, and I agree with him. Hire these guys full time, and their weekend is, say, like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday and part of Friday, they're studying film for what they can do better as refs. And then on Saturday, work with the NCAA and have them go ref like a D2 or D3 college game that's happening locally. Mm-hmm. That way they're staying up on the game. They aren't letting it go by. That's the other good thing about, say, baseball, MLB, NHL, and NBA refs. They're in it pretty much every day. It's not like they have to go back and contemplate, my progressive employees are messing around. Like,
yeah.
They can focus on their craft. They can study their game. They can keep up with everything that's going on.
Do you think the NFL refs are the worst refs of the 4?
Yeah. Not even a question. At least, I'll put it to you this way. As a player, the main thing, at player end now as I've gone on to coach, the main thing I want, because I give 2 flying you-know-whats about the style you're calling the game, like whether it's good, whether it's bad. My main thing is as long as you're consistent. And the NFL refs are the worst at consistency.
I agree, but I think there is a question. The MLB umpires are pretty bad this year. It was not a good year.
Yeah, but they're consistent, though. You know what I mean, for the most part?
Yeah,
I guess. Like I was watching in the Cardinals national game last night, there were pitches. I don't know. I forgot who was behind the plate last night for that game. And not to dwell on too much because we need to move on to our picks, so I'll end it with this. He was calling the pitches very up in the zone, but he was doing it for both ways.
That's fine.
And I would have been upset if they were I would call that if I got called a ball on or that was a ball a strike. But if the next inning I look out there and he's calling it to the other team that way, then I can't be mad.
No, as long as
because
it's
you know
for
what I
both
mean.
ways.
He's calling it both ways. So I get what you're saying. I agree with you on that. But I think what we all want for the most part as fans, as players, as coaches is all people within any game. We just want consistency, and I just don't think we're getting it because I don't know if they're just getting fed wrong information or what. But
I agree. But the worst call I've ever seen in my entire life was this Warriors game last year in the regular season, and Kevin Durant was literally out of bounds.
Well, yeah.
That was the worst. I don't care about the NFC Championship game. If you know what this play I'm talking about, I think it was against the Rockets. The Rockets ended up winning still, but worst call ever seen.
Anyway, let's get to picks. Week 7 of the NFL. Thursday night. I think I trailed you by 1 game in the overall standings.
Yes. You were. I beat you by 1 game last week because you picked the Lions. You almost had it. I picked the Packers.
Should have had it.
And you trailed by 1 game.
So we have Thursday night, Chiefs at the Broncos. Chiefs are struggling the past couple weeks.
Broncos have been hot.
It's in Denver. That being said, I think this is an optimal week to turn it around for the Chiefs, so I'm going Chiefs.
I'm going Chiefs.
First of the 1 o'clock games on Sunday that they have listed, Raiders at the Packers.
Packers.
I think this game's going to be a bit closer than people think. I'm still going with the Packers. That game might come down to a field goal, though.
All right.
49ers at the Redskins. I think they proved it to me this week. This 49ers team I don't think is really a joke this year. Definitely taking the 49ers.
Don't know why, but I got the Redskins in an upset. I have a weird feeling.
This is a battle, next game, a battle of 2 teams that need wins badly for, I think, 2 different reasons altogether. Either way, they need them bad. Rams come east to play the Falcons.
Rams. Falcons. Dan Quinn, how much longer?
Yeah, this is tough. I'm with you. I'm going to take the Rams, but I think the Falcons. I don't know what I haven't looked at it.
It is at Atlanta.
I haven't looked at it. I don't know what the spread is, but that might be if Atlanta's getting somewhere in the 4 range, that's a pretty tempting one to take in that realm.
Yeah.
Texans at the Colts. Houston's coming off 2 big weeks in a row. Colts coming off the bye. I'm going to take the Texans.
Taking the Colts.
All right. Vikings at the Lions.
Who are you taking?
I'm going to take the Vikings.
Why, Paul?
They're riding decent momentum, in my opinion.
The Lions? I'm a half fan of the Lions.
Yeah, I mean, the Lions...
they've been playing good ball. Should have beat the Chiefs. Should have beat the Packers.
I mean, not to say they're going to have a hangover by the way this game was, but games like that are rough to come back from. So,
Lions win this game.
All right, the Cardinals at the Giants, battle of the future quarterbacks of the league.
Got Kyler Murray, Cardinals.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be the same, but I think this is going to be a gun-slinging shootout between those two. So, I like that game to be high-scoring.
Yeah, it could be.
Oh, man. Jaguars at Bungles.
Here's what I was thinking about. I was looking over the page.
Me and you have the same mindset, actually, I think, for this game.
Will you ever pick the Bungles?
I think this week I might.
I might, too.
This is a weird Jaguars team. They finally traded away Ramsey today.
I got the Bengals in this game.
Yeah, I'm going to go Cincinnati as well.
Okay, so that answers the question.
Dolphins at the Bills. I'm going to go with the Bills.
Going with the Bills.
All right, our first of the 4 o'clock games, Chargers at the Titans. Titans made a quarterback change today. Ryan Tannehill will be starting on Sunday.
Chargers are out to prove something.
Yeah.
Got the Chargers in this game.
I do as well.
Yes.
Saints at the Bears.
That's a tough one.
This is a tough one. Both teams going out with backup quarterbacks.
I got the Bears at home.
I got the Bears as well.
Yes.
Ravens at the Seahawks. Battle of the Birds. Battle of the very mobile and very good quarterbacks.
You apologized to Matt earlier. I'm apologizing until now. I think I got the Ravens on the road.
I'm going Seahawks.
All right.
Sunday Night Football. Eagles at the Cowboys. This is
Eagles. Blah. Eagles. Blah.
I'm going Cowboys.
Okay.
I don't think either of these teams are as good as people think.
You're not buying on the Eagles.
I'm not buying the Eagles at all. This is a team that is showing what I was worried about at the start of the year, and it's come to fruition. Monday Night Football this week, Patriots at the Jets. Me and you are about to make the same pick, aren't we?
I think the undefeated season ends, Paul. I'm going the Jets.
I'm going the Jets, too.
Jets? Here we go again.
I'm going Jets, too.
I like Darnold.
Yeah. Yeah, something about cold nights just worries me with Tom Brady.
Can the Patriots really go undefeated?
No.
That was the quickest we ever did picks.
It will come to an end at some point. All right.
Speaking of cold.
Yeah, so the path of the World Series is slowly becoming clear. That's for sure. The Nationals are looking to sweep the Cardinals tonight. The Redbirds, isn't it called them? Let me get a quick score update for y'all.
Well, we get a breaking news
if,
in the next 15 minutes.
If you're watching. Top of the 8th inning, 2 outs. Nationals are up 7-4.
Wow.
Runner on first. So, for all intents and purposes, that's looking like the Nationals are going to win this one.
The Nationals have cooled down the offense.
The Astros pulled away to a 2-1 series lead today against the Yankees in New York. They're going again tomorrow.
They don't think they're going to get the game in, though.
Yeah, well, that's scheduled to go tomorrow. Doubtful, I'd put it.
Is it supposed to rain?
It's supposed to rain bad. It's supposed to be the next really couple days. It's supposed to be a wash. And that's not just something for New York State. This is something that's going to blast the entire state.
You know what that does?
What?
The Nationals win tonight.
Yeah.
They might be waiting a while.
They might be waiting almost, theoretically, they could be waiting almost 10 days. About 9-10 days they might be waiting.
Is that counting rain-ons
once they get out of New York, Houston has the Dome, and it should have go to Game 7. That puts, let's see, that would put, so you push New York, you push a game back. So instead of playing Wednesday, you play Thursday, Friday, off Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Yeah, it'd actually be closer to a week, 7 to 8 days.
Still.
But that's a while.
They'll be rested.
Yes, definitely. Seems like offense has been the name of the game, at least for the Nationals. I think. And actually, you want to know what the offense? I was about to say, and likewise, you can make the same statement just for a different meaning with the Cardinals. It's weird, man. I thought the Cardinals had a bit of a pitching advantage, just the way Flaherty had been the second half.
Even that Dakota Hudson, who just got.
Yeah, I mean, Dakota Hudson's been solid all year.
I mean, there was a play Jose Martinez caught.
Mikolas, not terrible, but a guy I thought you could rely on. Then obviously Wainwright had been turning back the clock the past about 2.5 months, but just couldn't get it together this series. So,
but if the Nationals are getting Anibal Sanchez to throw no hitters into late innings,
that's
deadly. Because you got Strasburg, you got Scherzer, and you got Corbin. Corbin has not been pitching great, but still potential to do so. I know you're a Yankees guy.
Mm-hmm.
But if the Nationals met the Astros, what a pitching series we could have.
Yeah, definitely. I'd be pretty excited.
You would? No, you wouldn't. You want the Yankees in there.
Well, I'd be excited for a different reason, which I will bring up in my final fresh take.
So, yeah. Didn't know it was baseball related.
Mm-hmm. It is.
But, Paul, so what is the outlook for the Yankees going forward? Tell your Yankee fans.
I mean, obviously, I think it's whether it's tomorrow.
As you were a Montreal Expos, because you are
whether it's tomorrow
joining the Nationals bandwagon. It looks like
whether it's tomorrow or Thursday, Game 4 is must win. I think you go down 3-1. You have to go to Houston, or not necessarily go to Houston, but you got Game 5 in New York. You could win that, so that's 3-2 going to Houston. That means Houston just has to win one more at home. I still think the only solace for, if you're looking at this overall, none of the Astros starting pitchers out of the 3 they've been using are going to have full rest. Now the rest of the way for sure. Verlander doesn't. Greinke doesn't. And obviously Garrett Cole now definitely won't. So it's a small positive. It's a small token, I think, to go forward with. I think you're finally starting to see some dents in the armor in terms of that for the Astros. Garrett Cole still looked great today, but you're right, something did seem off.
Still got the job done.
Yeah, you'd have to imagine though it has to do with rest. He's not going 5 days like he's used to. He's going on 3 or 4. So
who's supposed to get scheduled to pitch tomorrow?
I believe it's.
They were thinking Chad Green.
We're going to go bullpen no matter what, the way it sounds. So Chad Green would get the nod to start, and Chad Green's done phenomenal in that role. So it'd be him and Greinke, since Greinke threw Game 1. So the Astros are sticking with this 3-man rotation. I think it's going to bite them in the end, though, because none of these guys are rested.
Makes me wonder. They did pitch Chad Green today, though.
Not much overall. I think that shows how much faith they have in them not going tomorrow.
We'll see.
Yeah.
What playoffs do you like better, baseball or NASCAR?
I see what you did there, and props to you, because we will move on. The round of 12 for NASCAR's playoff is ending this weekend. It's not supposed to look like that. Didn't edit right.
Kansas?
But Blaney and Chase Elliott have locked themselves into the next round. Who will join them will be determined at Kansas this weekend. If you watch Kenny Two Pennies, he mentioned a driver by the name of Brendan Gaughan.
Really?
Nick, you asked me about this prior to the show. This video is courtesy...
Oh, yeah, the big video.
This video is courtesy of NBC Sports and Motorsports on NBC's YouTube channel. I will show it to you. Here we go. Okay, so cool. Brendan Gaughan is in the 62 car up top here. You don't see my mouse on it, unfortunately, but he's in the 62 car. Fun fact about Brendan Gaughan before I get the video rolling. Did you know that Brendan Gaughan was an All-American kicker at Georgetown? He was also a walk-on for the basketball team there, and was pretty much the Allen Iverson bodyguard.
No, I did not know that.
Fun fact. Okay, so if you didn't see this already, this is quite interesting. Like I said, video courtesy of Motorsports on NBC YouTube channel. So here we go.
Whoa, our first video.
Pushing down the back straightaway here. Like I said, he's in the 62 car. Getting a big push right now from Brad Keselowski. And here we go. Trouble afoot. Gets hit by the 18, and there he goes. Up and over 360.
Wow. Did they do slow motion?
Yeah, so let me find it. As you can see by the cursor down below.
It went a little fast.
Okay, here we go. We have an aerial shot. So, yeah, there he goes.
Wow.
Like a feather.
What did he say after that?
So he had a really great interview. Pretty much said he apologized to his mom, but still said that he plans on running the Daytona 500 next year with the 62 team. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty crazy. I mean, the way these cars just kind of pick up and kind of go on their own.
I wonder that guy. Who's the guy that just landed right? He landed right in front of him.
Landed right in front of him. Oh,
you'll see it here.
I believe that might have been the 37 car.
Yeah, I think it was 37.
Yeah, that's Chris Buescher. Yep, the 37 car, yep. Chris Buescher has actually been upside down at Talladega before.
So this is the big race right here.
Yep. Here it is, head on, and then we'll get back to our faces. Yeah, it's pretty...
That was cool.
Actually, one more angle here. One more angle.
Yeah, let's get some more angles, man. Enjoy the video.
I mean, it's pretty crazy.
We should do more videos.
Yeah, it'd be pretty cool. Little in-car action here so we can see what happens. Anyway, the playoffs, though, has been pretty crazy this year. The guy I thought would make it to the Final Four got eliminated in the first round, and Kurt Busch. His teammate Kyle Larson won at Dover last weekend, prior to this weekend. And he locked himself into the round of 12, meaning obviously him and Blaney are locked in. I didn't mean to type in Chase Elliott. I made a bit of a mistake there. But we got a lot of excitement in that realm coming up. Truex, I think, is pretty much locked in.
So who do you like out?
I think, unfortunately, it looks like I'm going to say status quo. I think Boyer, Bowman, Chase Elliott.
Missed the top 8.
You know what? I'm going to go with the dark horse, and I think people thinking he'll make it in. I'm going to go with Joey Logano misses as well. So, yeah, that's who I think. Obviously, stay tuned for it. It's going to be pretty fun the rest of the year with that. After this, only 4 weeks left, so should be exciting. We'll move on to our locks of the week. Have we been making you money? I know I sure haven't, at least the past week. My lock of the week, NC State is traveling to Boston College this weekend. Boston College has lost their starting quarterback for the year. At the moment, NC State is giving on the road 3.5 points. I really love NC State at the moment, -3.5. If you're able to, like the sportbook at Del Lago, might be a safe move to buy some points back if you're like that. I know I am. So that's who I'm saying is my lock of the week.
All right. My lock of the week is occurring.
Yes.
7 days from now.
Wow.
So right before our show starts, get ready to lock this in. NBA season starts. The Raptors are -5.5 against the Pelicans in the opener. You lock that in. They are going to beat up Zion and the Pelicans. And I just want to say one real quick thing about Zion. Mm-hmm. Zion will never be the superstar player that people think he will be. Zion is not better than R.J. Barrett. He is not even better than Julius Randle. A little bit of a biased answer, but that is my lock of the week. Raptors -5.5.
All right, so I will do it. The Nationals got out of the top of the 8th inning for them, so I will feel confident in doing my final fresh take, Requiem for the Expos. Nick, we were 10-9 when the Expos played their final game in Montreal. So pretty much for all of our lives, we know that franchise as the Washington Nationals. Now, there's been a lot of momentum in the past couple of years for the Expos to return. My final fresh take for everyone is this. Let's not forget the actual roots of this team. A lot of people, especially TBS, has been pushing this narrative of this team being Washington-based, DC, a legit DC homegrown team. They've been showing old Senators playing trading cards, clips from them. When in actuality, this team was a team that at one point had Andre Dawson, Gary Carter, Vladimir Guerrero, Larry Walker, Moises Alou, Pedro Martinez, Dennis Martinez, John Wetland, plethora of others, Antonio Cromartie, Steve Lee, or Bob Lee rather, Steve Rogers, Russie Staub at the beginning of his career. This was a team that had its own fair share of, baseball greats on this team at one point. So when you're celebrating, probably tonight, the way it looks, a team making its first ever World Series appearance. Remember that the franchise actually should have already had one in 1994 as the Montreal Expos. Vive l'Expo. Hopefully one day it's team again. The funny part about it is if they hadn't probably left Montreal, I probably would be an Expo fan today.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, that's how much I've been hung on this team, honestly, in the past. The reason I got this hat, one of the reasons I love Vladimir Guerrero as much as I do, those teams were fun. They were bad, but they had players that were fun to watch. You had Vlad Guerrero. I can name you just random guys from the team that I just love playing because they were just odd players like that, like Andy Chavez, Tremel Sledge, Brad Wilkerson, Brian Schneider.
Will there be a team back, and will you root for them?
Yeah, well, so that part kind of depends. If it's the Rays, probably not. I probably would have a little bit of an interest in them nonetheless, though. But I feel like they'd have to be the Expos, really, for me to have that interest. So, Requiem for the Expos is my final fresh take for tonight.
Yep.
So with that in mind, we will
good final fresh
catch. Thank you. We will catch everyone here again next Tuesday night. We need to figure out. For the most part, we'll be good upcoming wise. As far as I know, anyway. For sure for the next 2 weeks, and then we get election night. I'm not too sure what we're doing that week yet.
Usually we get booted off.
Well, for good reason. And then after that, we got, for sure, I'd say 2 weeks. I don't know what we'll do Thanksgiving week just yet. I assume we'll go no matter what, but never really know.
When's Halloween week?
Halloween
2 weeks.
2 weeks. 29th, and then we'll worry about December when we get there because of the way the holidays fall this year. Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve both on Tuesday, so we may not see everyone for a couple weeks there.
Yeah.
So, Nick,
we did make a New Year's Day episode.
We did. That would, I don't know, Wednesday. I don't know. Depends.
Yeah.
I'd have work the next day. I don't know.
Yeah.
Nick, who you got shouting out today?
I'm shouting out my cousin's husband, Justin Kiefer. Speaking of Washington,
yeah,
big Capitals fan.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Let's go to a Capitals-Rangers game. Let's make it happen. Shout out Justin.
I'd be in for that. Can I come?
Yeah, you're coming, Paul.
Sweet.
We'll talk Lightning. Shout out Justin.
Go Bolts. So as always, thanks again for tuning in. If you guys haven't already, you should like, share, subscribe, download the Finger Lakes One app. While I was away, it's how I got my local news. So it helps out a lot. And until next time, keep it fresh.